Thank you all for tuning in to season 2 of the One of One podcast, where we cover the unique journeys of superstars in different industries, how they got to where they are today, and most importantly, how they get to where they want to be tomorrow. Today, we have a very special guest who is not only a superstar in her industry, but truly a legend in the making. The face of women in sales, founder and CEO of the She Sells Academy, Miss Shelby Sapp.
Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here.
First of all, I know you have an extremely busy schedule, so thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. Of
course. You chased me down when I was eating the salad, remember?
I remember. That's why we're here. So what does a day in your life look like right now? I know you're extremely busy.
Okay. So I wake up. Ashley normally wakes me up with a Starbucks coffee that we love, which is the best start to my day. And then we go on a Brickell Key walk, go to Pilates, and then come home, and my day with work is always scattered because I have 3 different companies, so I'm always taking calls for different ones at different points. So I'll take calls for my company, I'll take a couple sales calls, and then I will also try to do like a walk in between my day. Maybe film some content if I have time, but my day's pretty much all calls and all working out all the time.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
So you're originally from Arizona, and you graduated from ASU. You got your bachelor's and your master's in 4 years.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
When did you start getting into sales, and when did you get your start in the industry? When did you know that was something that was passion for you?
Yeah, it was funny because I always knew I just wanted to be like a badass businesswoman my whole life growing up. My very first business I started, I was like 7 years old. It was a nail painting business, very little, but I always just knew I wanted to be really, really good at business. And so throughout college, while I was getting my undergrad, it was in finance, but I was like, I have the finance background. I had an accounting internship. I had a marketing internship. I did pretty much every single sector that you could do in business except for sales. And I think sales was the only one where I was like really scared to try it, because you either sell someone or you don't. And so you can't really like fake being good at it, because you either, like I said, close the deal or don't. So I was always really scared to try sales until one of my business mentors told me about how he did door-to-door sales when he was back in college. And he was like, you can make a lot of money doing it, and the skill set will perfectly set you up for what you want to do in the future. And I was like, okay, like, bet, like, why don't I do that? And he was like, I mean, you could try, but there's like no girls that do door-to-door. And I was like, okay, bet. And so I just decided to send it. And from sophomore year all the way until my master's degree, every single summer, in between taking classes, I was doing door-to-door sales and leading teams for that.
And that's extremely difficult to get started as a woman in sales, doing door-to-door in Minnesota, it was, I believe?
Yeah, so every summer I was up in Minnesota.
And how did your mom take it? I'm sure she was probably scared of you going out there, little girl.
Oh my God. My mom sat me down with $1,000 cash. And she was like, if you do not leave tomorrow, you can keep the job that you have, which was some like cold calling B2B job, and you can have $1,000 cash. And to me, I was like, well, I was like 18 years old. That's a lot of money. Yeah. And so I definitely thought about it. I was like, damn. Because she didn't want her little girl out there knocking on random people's doors in Minnesota. She's like, how did I mess up as a mom to where my daughter wants to go do this? But obviously I didn't take it. Made way more than $1,000, so thank God. But now she's the biggest fan because obviously it like helps me pay for my whole lifestyle and everything.
That's amazing. And now I know you're a former athlete and you did figure skating.
Yes.
What were some of the most valuable lessons that translated from being an athlete to the world of business?
So figure skating is actually a very, very intense sport. I feel like when you think about it, you just think like, oh, ballerina on the ice. It's like, no, that is so intense. And for me, like, I was always a very kind of like scared and insecure kid growing up. And so with figure skating, I think it really built my tenacity of like, when you fall down, you literally have to get up. And when you're doing that program, like, you could fall the same way 5 different times in a row, but then the 6th time is the time where you stand up and then you get the hang of it. So I think that in addition with door-to-door is like, it's all a numbers game. Of like, you just have to practice, put in the reps, and then it'll fall into place at some point, which is pretty much sales when you think about it. So thank God.
So it's a numbers game. A lot of people, they'll try 10 times and not make any money or not have any success, and then they give up. But the 11th try was the one where you find success and continue to go.
Exactly.
So now door-to-door sales is an industry that's mostly dominated by males.
Yeah.
And you became a top sales rep right out of the gate. What were some of the biggest adjustments that you had to make to have all the success that you had in the industry?
A couple things. One is definitely like working hard even when nobody's watching. So like you have a manager in door-to-door sales, which will tell you like, keep knocking, keep knocking. But when there's like a tornado going on or it's 120 degrees heat, it's like you can either sit on the curb or you can keep knocking and wait until that magic door. And so those are the types of moments that determine if you're going to be successful or not. For myself, like I was a girl going through, I was only 18 years old. The biggest flip that switched though was when I got there, I had no training because everyone there was a dude, and guys pitch so differently than girls. And so I remember getting there and thinking like, there's no support for me here. Not only is there no training, but there's also no like, I have no friends here. I have no like support or community. And everybody was looking at me like, why is she here with all of us? So I could have just like left, but then I was like, no. I just need to teach myself and I need to be that support for myself. And so I think that experience was a very, very hard experience for me, but it made me into the leader that I am today because now I know what it takes to train other women. And I know what it takes to have the support and community that other women need. So, best experience.
And now one thing that I wanted to mention, and it probably, a lot of people don't realize it, but I'm sure you do, and it feels like a full circle moment, that you opened up the door for a lot more women to get into door-to-door sales.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, it was a male-only industry, and now you see more women not only doing it, but having success in it.
Yeah.
How does that feel that you're almost the pioneer of that?
It's amazing. Like, I remember when I was first doing door-to-door, they made me wear the boy uniforms. I was like, this is so ugly. So I went to a tailor, and I had them make my own uniforms. And as more girls started to come into it, the guys would put them in the guy uniforms. And then they would see me and they were like, wait, what is she wearing though? And so I would send them all the uniforms, send them my pitch. And so it's nice that, I'm not in that world anymore, but I did start out in that world. And I have so much like thankfulness for the door-to-door community, and like seeing all the girls just absolutely kill it. It's just like makes my heart so happy.
That's amazing. And fast forward a little bit, you moved to Miami.
Yeah.
What made you decide to move across the country, and how's your experience with Miami so far?
You know what? After I finished my master's in Arizona, I was like, I don't have to be in a specific state. I don't. Like with what I do for work, it's all remote. So I was like, I'm young, like I just want to move somewhere. I'm very independent. And so me and my best friend, we were like, where should we move in the country? So we visited a couple different places. We visited New York, LA, and Miami. And we obviously had the best time here. So we chose here.
That's amazing. And I'm glad you're here, especially I'm a person that grew up here and I've seen the city grow to where it's at now. What are your thoughts? Do you see yourself moving somewhere else, or is this where you're going to call home for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, well, I just signed for a new place, which is very exciting, but I only did like a 6-month lease because I'm buying in California. Okay. So I want to move to California.
Okay, fair, but glad to have you down here.
Yes, for the time.
Expanding the community down here for sure. Yeah. So you transitioned from door-to-door sales to what, in my opinion, is probably one of the best jobs in the world, which is remote high-ticket sales.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the viewers that don't know what it is, what remote high-ticket sales is, and how did you make that transition?
Oh my God, it's such a cheat code. Well, so for example, I had no idea what it was when I was going through this. And mind you, like I was like the woman in sales. And so I had no idea what this niche was. I stumbled upon it. One of my good friends from college, I was hanging out with him and he was closing deals and he knew I was in sales and he was telling me all about it, like how he helps on Zoom close these deals. And I told him, I was like, let me get on a call, like let me try one. And so I tried one, closed the deal in 20 something minutes. And I was like, I just made $500 in 20 something minutes when this last summer, what I would have had to do is knock all day, 13 hours a day in the heat, like this is a cheat code. Like, let me get on a couple more calls. Yeah. So I got on 3 sales calls, closed all of them back to back, and it was just wraps from there. So essentially what it is, because I had absolutely no idea what it was until I saw him doing it, was you close deals for high ticket offers from anywhere in the world. Yeah. So essentially a creator or a company that has a ton of warm inbound traffic through organic content or even paid advertisement will get a lead. And that lead will get filtered out through some sort of qualification system. So think a type form, application. So now this lead has seen a video, like a TikTok, an Instagram reel. They fill out an application to join whatever the creator or the company's providing. A fitness offer, mentorship, some sort of investing program, because they want to be a part of it. So now this person will sometimes get called by a setter, say, hey, go through some sort of qualification questions, make sure they have money to invest into the program. And then you as a closer, you get on the Zoom call with this person that has already been pre-qualified, has already been pre-vetted, is already somewhat interested, and you walk them through the process and close the deal.
Absolutely. And now you started closing those deals, but again, going back to you being a pioneer in the industry, now you're helping women get into those positions.
Yeah.
And you're what I call a serial entrepreneur like me.
Thank you.
You see a vision, you put a plan together, and you execute. Right now, you have 3 companies: She Sells Academy, Placement Portal, and Mossy Nutrition. Can you tell me why you decided to start each company and how you turned it from a vision to reality?
Yeah, so I guess let's start with the first one, so She Sells. So for me, I had 0 training in sales. And I was like, if I had a system in place, I would have saved so much time, money, effort, and energy figuring out the process if it was just kind of outlined for me. So my thought in starting She Sells Academy was I pictured my little self when I was 18 years old in creating the type of program that I would have wanted to have before I got into sales. And so it's amazing because the community is awesome, but also the training is dialed. We've spent months and months on the trainings, on the script, so it's super cool. That's She Sells Academy. The placement portal is amazing too, because these women go through the academy and a lot of them are like, okay, well now I'm trained, I want to start making some money. So that's where the placement portal came in, is, trained sales reps want positions, and really qualified companies are looking at me saying, hey, we want to hire you to work for us and also copies of you. And I'm like, great, well, I have this whole community. So She Sells Academy, placement portal kind of go hand in hand, great. And then Mossy is a company that I started, me and my best friend started when I was getting my master's degree at ASU. So holistic nutrition, and it starts with the CMOS gummy.
CMOS. That's awesome. That's something that's been very popular with the health industry.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of CMOS before.
You have?
And typically it's pretty nasty, to say the least.
It's disgusting.
But I heard a rumor that your gummies are pretty good.
Who told you that?
Just heard around.
Ooh, okay, maybe we'll have to try them.
For sure, awesome. Now, I heard another rumor that you're having a big relaunch with the Academy. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? I'm really excited to hear. And what can the hot girl community expect to see?
Well, I can't say too much, but all I will say is that if you are a woman who wants to start taking sales seriously, get insanely thorough training in one specific niche, and also get placed on an offer that you can start making money as soon as possible, you need to be at the event. If you are interested in remote high ticket closing at all, or even just making that life change, I'm gonna be breaking down the whole training sales process of what it looks like from A to Z. So
that's amazing. And where can the viewers find that community and join what you're building? Because that's pretty remarkable.
Should we link it? We can link it.
Put it right there.
Yeah, let's link it.
But yeah, that's awesome because, in all honesty, there's a lot of, not just women, but people in general that have that idea, have that vision, but just don't know where to start. And you're providing not only the training to be able to get started, but then the fulfillment side of it, actually getting them those jobs. And how did that all come together for you? Was it just an idea one day, or is that something that you've had in your mind for a while?
That's a good question. So as soon as I got back from Door-to-Door, I obviously started making some sales content throughout the summer and right when I got back. And I had that like hundreds of thousands of women in my DMs, in my comments, like it blew up, and they were like, I want to do what you're doing. And to be completely honest, and I've really never talked about this before, I knew in my heart I could never bring this massive amount of quality and quantity women into the specific type of door-to-door that I was doing. It just would not have worked. It wouldn't have been fair to the women, just because door-to-door is so hard. You have to move across the country, and it's also like, it's just a whole thing in and of itself. And so I was like, there has to be a more streamlined, better opportunity for women to take them from like either A, really driven and not in sales, or B, like they're in their 9 to 5, they don't love their job, or they're in some sort of other sales job and they want more freedom. And as soon as I met the college friend where he was taking some sales calls and I figured it out, I was like, this is what it is. And so the reason I think some of the women that follow me were so confused on like, well, what do you sell? It's because I didn't want to release it yet until I had a system that could handle the mass volume that I know is going to come through. So that's why I'm so excited for the launch, is because we've been working for months, me and my team, on building out a whole training academy and process and placement portal that can handle the volume that we're expecting. So very, very exciting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, you're building a ton of stuff and you're growing a lot.
Yeah.
When you're in that path, it's so important to surround yourself with high-quality people. What does your team look like now, and who are some of the key contributors to all the success that you have?
Well, my business partners, for all of them, amazing. You have to find business partners that, one, love you as like a person deep down, because running a business with someone, yes, it's business, but it's also a lot of like stressful moments, a lot of anxiety, a lot of like reassurance, a lot of like keeping you aligned with your goals. And it's really important to pick strategic partners that know you on that personal level, but also have the competency to create that synergy and make a goal happen. And then also, I would probably say the biggest blessing in my absolute life throughout these businesses, specifically She Sells in the placement portal, is my EA, Ashley. Literally.
Who we have right here today, actually.
Yes, if you are in my sales academy, you guys, this woman loves you so much. We talk about it every day. She has got your guys' back, and we're always brainstorming like new ways to make the academy better. Like, she is amazing. So definitely Ashley.
Well, thank you, Ashley, for all your hard work. We have her right here. Now, I want to take it to the more personal and mental side of things. One of the biggest things about this podcast is I'm a firm believer that if you can control your mind, you can control your life, right?
Me too.
I have a quote here from you that says,
from me?
If you want to be good at sales, you have to be a literal psychopath. First of all, I completely agree with that. But can you expand a little bit more on what that means to you?
100%. And especially in like those entry-level sales positions where you're cold calling, door knocking, doing any sort of like warm outreach, DMs, emails, you have to disassociate from yourself. And nobody talks about this. Everybody thinks success is super pretty, super cute, like the lifestyle. It's like, it's not. What success is, in the way you actually build real, true success, is by going through what I call the suck. And I just posted about this in my broadcast channel. I put like daily nuggets in there. But I was like, the suck is where you build your story. And you can only become successful if you have a real, true, genuine story behind what you're trying to do. And so, like, for me, when I was doing door-to-door sales, the reason I say psychopath is because you have to be a psychopath. You have to take your emotions and how you feel about a certain scenario out of the equation, and you just have to work. Like when I was knocking doors, truly, I would go up to doors, and the 10 doors before would all scream at me, yell at me, post me on the neighborhood Facebook, tell me to get a real job, slam the door in my face. But that 11th door, I had to go up acting like I sold the last 10. Yeah. That's not normal. That's a psychopath. But it made me successful.
Yeah, because if you take those last 10 doors to that 11th one, they feel that energy, and who's going to want to buy from someone that's having a bad day? My definition of being a psychopath is not just in sales, but I find that something really common in the top 1% performers in any industry. I grew up in baseball, and I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by highly successful individuals, and they're all psychopaths in their own way.
They are.
And it's an obsession, right, to your craft. And the best part about it, you know you're on the right track when the majority of people don't understand you or don't get you.
So true.
And that's when you know you're on the right path.
So true.
What do you feel like is the biggest misconception for girls trying to get into sales, and why is that inaccurate?
That it's easy. It's not. They think, well, not all of them, because I do try my best to let them know, you know, it's not pretty all the times, but the hard work you put in is a direct reflection of like what you get paid out and what your lifestyle is going to look like. So if you can work hard, it's the most beautiful thing ever. But if you're someone that just wants to do the bare minimum to get by, you absolutely should not be in a 100% commission paying job. You shouldn't go into sales. You shouldn't start your own business. You shouldn't do any sort of like freelancing. You should just be in a 9-to-5. There's nothing wrong with that, truly. But if you're someone that is super driven, super motivated, and has like big goals for themselves, you shouldn't be capped by a 9-to-5. So in my opinion, it's just how you match the personality. But that's the biggest misconception, is some girls think it's easy, and it's not.
100%. And a lot of people think that, oh yeah, I have to do this, this, and this to be successful. But it's really not about the things that you have to do to be successful. It's the things that you have to sacrifice.
That's so true.
I had a friend, I'm not going to mention a name here, but he was talking to me about, oh, I really want to be successful and do this and that. And then he also tells me, I also don't want to work on the weekends.
Oh my God.
That doesn't add up
No.
at all. But what do you think, you know, for the people that have the mindset and have the intentions of doing things right, what do you think is the biggest thing holding them back from building that life that they want?
Honestly, limiting beliefs. I think you can only arise to the level that you imagine yourself in. And so a lot of the times, like, people have so much potential, but they just, for some reason, they just don't think that reaching the crazy delusional level is for them. It's for somebody else. But it's like, no, it can be for you, and it should be for you. You just genuinely don't believe it. And what you believe in your mind directly manifests to what your reality is going to be. So I think you have to be a little delusional and psychopath.
100%. Now, obviously, you know, going from somebody that's just starting out, comparing themselves to you, that you've come a long way, it's easy to have those limiting beliefs because there's such a big gap there. Right. So what are some actionable steps that you feel like, you know, women in the industry can take to just get closer to that goal? Obviously, joining the academy, number one.
Yeah, there's so many other things you can do. I don't want to just say you only have to join my academy. I will say I built the academy because it's the path of least resistance from where you are to where you want to be. And that's why I designed it. But I do think in order to be successful, everyone's like, well, how do I be successful? First, you need to humble yourself. And you need to actually do the things that nobody else wants to do right now in order to get to somewhere that nobody else is. So like for me, that was knocking doors every single day. That was training people on door-to-door teams every day for free, leading people, managing people, because all of those harsh nights, the stressful doors, knocking in tornadoes, like all of that skill set made me be able to be the woman that I am today and be able to help and mentor girls, even though I am only 23 years old. So it's like, if you want to do something big, you have to start out small and just humble yourself and be really, really good at it, build a skill set in that. So, you know, cold calling, door knocking, emailing. If you want to do some sort of like cheat code to where you don't have to do that, remote high ticket sales, which is why I'm offering it to the women. But yeah, just go through the suck.
Yeah, it's crazy because from the outside looking in, right, people think that, you know, your life probably has always been perfect and everything is the way that it needs to be, but that's not reality. You already went through the suck. They're just not seeing that part, and that's where a lot of people find that gap, and those limiting beliefs come, oh, that can't happen to me. That's only for, you know, that, you know, it's crazy. But, you know, they say one of the most important things is your network is your net worth, right?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had any crazy networking stories, like maybe some random dude chasing you down in a pizza shop, asking you to be on his podcast?
Oh, yeah. I was like, that's oddly specific. Oh, wait, that was you. I mean, I feel like the biggest thing with networking is everybody's always so worried about, like, how do I get in contact with this one? How do I network with this person? How do I, like, get in contact with all these people? Can you connect me? It's like, stop playing the game of networking just to network, because the people that you actually need to be networking with don't network just to network. Like, you have to, step number one is being somebody that other people want to network with. Whether that's like a young, hungry, go-getter kid that like has so much potential but good energy, wants to help other people out before networking with them. Or whether that's like focusing on yourself, building something that you're proud of, that other people want to network with you. Does that kind of make sense?
Associate with, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's like everybody's trying to network with people that are so like above. It's like when you're dating somebody, it's like instead of just trying to date the hot guy, why don't you just be hot first and then you'll attract all the hot guys?
100%.
You know, you got to build yourself up first.
100%. And that's, especially in the city, there's a lot of that stuff going on. But we'll save that for a different day. But I want to talk, I know you're a visionary, right? So take me into the future. What's the long-term vision for Shelby? And, you know, 5 years in the future, what does the perfect life look like for you?
You know what's so funny is I was writing this down to the girls in my academy the other day, like my big Delulu goal. And it was to build the #1 community for women that want a better opportunity and want like support around them. That's my 100% ultimate goal in my life. And I was writing that and I was like, I already did that. Like
That's amazing.
It's nowhere where I am planning on it being, because we have so many plans, so many things in stores, but it is. And so it was just so cool because like that's my goal. So I think I already, and it feels so nice to already be living part of my dream. It is like the very, very start of it, because it's just gonna blow up and compound on itself times 10. But that's my goal.
And I 100% believe in it, and I'm very excited to continue to follow your journey and all your success. When somebody, you know, you can feed off the energy of, you're not necessarily focused on the results, but the input. You said you have your morning routine, you're putting in the inputs every day, separating yourself from the outcome. As long as you continue to do the work every day, that's gonna happen on its own. And reality is you'll probably end up a lot higher than you would have, you know, set a goal for yourself.
100%.
That was beautifully said. We have a tradition in this podcast where the previous guest always leaves a question for the next one.
Oh,
so
okay.
Today, I have a question for you from our last guest, University of Louisville running back Don Chaney, and he wanted to ask you, what do you think individuals should ask or tell themselves when facing adversity?
I think they should ask themselves, am I going to be someone that is reactive or somebody that is going to make a change? I don't know if that was the right way to word it, but am I going to be somebody that's, you know, letting their environment determine how I react to something, or are they going to be someone that determines their environment? That's a better way to put it. And like, for example, when I first started Doortodoor, I was the only girl. I walked in, there was 100 dudes dressed as pest control technicians. I could have been like, this ain't for me, sucks, Mom, I'll be back tomorrow. But I was like, no, this isn't for me, but I can make it for me. And you see an opportunity rather than you seeing it as like adversity, you know?
100%. Everything that happens is your fault.
Literally.
You're in control.
That's a good question. Tell them
Don
that's a good
Chaney,
question.
great question.
Yeah, thanks, Don.
Hopefully you leave another great one for our next guest. And that is all for today. I appreciate you so much for taking the time. Can't wait to run this back in a couple of years.
You didn't try my sea moss gummies.
Let's try. You have some here?
Yes. Right here.
Oh.
So crazy. So last minute planned. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
I told you I've had
Have you ever taken sea moss before?
Yes, and typically it's pretty nasty. So I'm going to give you a raw, honest review.
No.
Is that
Sea
fair?
moss is disgusting.
I'm going to give you a fair review.
Let me tell you the story really quick.
Let's hear it.
Do I have like
we
2
have
minutes?
all the time in the
Okay.
world.
So you know how I said I was doing door-to-door sales? So me and my best friend Morgan, we were doing door-to-door, and I want you to picture this. It's so gross. The amount of doorbells you touch a day is inhumane. And think about how many. When was the last time you cleaned your doorbell? Never. Okay. You get so sick so often doing door to door because you're talking to so many people, you're touching all those doorbells and you. But I was getting sick a lot, and it's really hard to like take care of yourself while you're going so hard doing door to door. You're sweating, like your acne, whatever. And so her major was holistic nutrition. And so she was like, Shelby, like we need to start taking sea moss. Like I promise you, like it'll help with our immunity. It'll help with like the acne. And I was like, okay, like sure, order it. Let's do it. So we split a jar of sea moss. Disgusting. She made me try it in the spoon.
Gross.
It's so bad. It tastes like salty dirt.
Makes my eyes twitch.
Literally. And she was like, we're just doing it for 2 weeks because I already bought the bottle. Bottle was like 100, or not $100. It was like $50. And did it for 2 weeks. Cleared up my acne. I did not get sick, which was crazy because for the last 3 years before that, I was getting sick all the time in door to door. And I was like, this stuff tastes terrible, but it's so good for you. Yeah. So I sucked it up and I did it. But I told her, I was like, there's a huge opportunity here. Like, we need to make sea moss taste better, but also have like a really cool like brand aesthetic with it. So
vision, plan, execution.
Vision, plan, execution.
I'm excited to try this out. Let's see.
Yes.
Are you going to take one with me?
Well, I was going to show you the bottle. Do you like the bottle?
What do we have? I love it.
You do?
Green. I love it. Mossy.
Yes.
What's the
skin, hair, gut health, energy, immunity, libido, all of the things.
How did the name come about?
So Mossy, we sat on the name for a while and we loved it because it just sounds super cute, but it's also sea moss flipped.
That's sick. Yeah.
And then somebody took it with one eye, so we added another eye.
I love it.
I'm excited to try it.
That bottle is very good presentation.
You can have 2.
Perfect.
That's the serving size.
Raw, honest review.
Yeah. I know.
That's gas.
No,
that's candy.
I know.
There's no sea moss in here.
Yes, there is. It took us 1.5 years to make this. Also, in my master's program.
This is gas.
I know. In my master's program, I pitched this company to a bunch of investors at ASU, and we won like the most amount of funding you could possibly have. So the funding went directly into researching the formula and creating like the best sea moss gummy that is on the market. So that's why it tastes so good.
They say you're a saleswoman. I'm already sold. So I'll definitely be
this
ordering
doesn't have to
some.
sell itself.
That's awesome. That's actually genuinely really good.
I told you.
Green apple.
You can have it. It's all yours.
I got to reorder my subscription.
Yeah, for the next month.
But thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate all the value you gave back to the viewers, and I cannot wait to continue to see your growth and success and the big relaunch for the Academy.
Thank you so
Shelby Sapp,
much.
Thank you.